ongoing Russian invasion of Ukraine and the sanctions that followed have pushed oil prices to its highest level since the 2008 financial crisis, dealing a heavy blow on the global economy's recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic.
Burkina Faso is considered the heart of the cinema industry in French-speaking West Africa. I'm here to speak with key industry players and find out how they're keeping the projectors' lights running.
You don't need products to grow your hair. It's like a plant. You just have to water it and it grows.
The ongoing Russian invasion of Ukraine and the sanctions that followed have pushed oil prices to its highest level since the 2008 financial crisis, dealing a heavy blow on the global economy's recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. While the surge in prices have hit consumers worldwide, do Africa's oil-rich countries, including Nigeria, have the capacity to turn this misfortune into fortune? Russia accounts for a significant amount of the world's total crude oil output, between 25 to 30%, making it the second highest producer globally. The crisis and sanctions slammed by Europe and America has significantly impacted demand for Russian products and tipped the odds in Africa's favor. The opportunity has become a problem to some of the African giant oil producers like Nigeria, Angola, Libya, and Algeria. They lack functioning refineries and will also pay more for imported fuel. In Kenya, motorists have been enduring major fuel shortages since the last week of March 2022. For many, hours-long queues and strict rationing at petrol stations has been the order of the day, as pumps across the country run dry.
I came here twice. This is the second time now to add some more fuel, because there are long queues all over.
It has been frustrating. At some point you would even think you would be stuck on the way because your tank is empty and there is literally no fuel all over. So it has been a struggle even to come this far.
The government blames hoarders for the shortfall and insists it has sufficient reserves of nearly 50 million litres, while the oil dealers blame it on outstanding subsidy payment. Abimbola Balogun owns a smoothie factory in Lagos, Nigeria. She tells how her dependence on fuel is taking a toll on her smoothie business.
We are barely just trying to get out of the impact of COVID on the business, and then this struck again. It affected our business in terms of our operating expenses. You know, we are heavily reliant on power. The nature of our So Fresh business is such that all our products have to be fresh, cold, chilled. If it is hot, everything has to be right at the right temperature. And so when it happened, it was bad, because we know that this is going to badly affect our bottom line. So what we did was to bear the loss for a while.
South Africa sells a litre of petrol at $1.04. In Zimbabwe, it sells as high as $2.01. It costs $1.29 to buy a litre of petrol in Senegal, and Uganda sells a litre for $1.03. Abimbola tells how a dependence on fuel is taking a toll on our business.
I mean, you can imagine that before this diesel price shoot really high, we're spending about $1,200. But right now, it's over $5,000. This is across all our stores, and that's huge. Our plan is alternative power supply. At this point, it's become very important.
Nigeria's refineries have not been working at optimal capacity. The country's premium crude, Bonny Light, is currently trading at around $115 a barrel, but the country struggles to produce about 1.5 million barrels of oil per day.
In the second part of this story,
infrastructure issues need to be fixed by the government. That's something that the government will need to tackle, and also the security issues that plague the sector.
Clap de départ. Et c'est parti pour la 27e édition du festival.
Burkina Faso is considered the heart of the cinema industry in French-speaking West Africa. Every 2 years, the Pan-African Film and Television Festival of Ouagadougou, popularly known as FESPACO, recognizes and awards the best movies and talents from Africa and its diaspora. I'm here to speak with key industry players and find out how they're keeping the projectors' lights running. Aminata Diallo-Glaise, better known by her stage name Kadi Jolie, is an actor, producer and owner of one of the newest movie theaters in Ouagadougou.
Oh, welcome.
Wow, this is
Yeah, very good. C'est notre nouvelle salle comme ça.
This is our new theatre, 300 seats to see the latest films, and the theatre is named after Idrissa Ouedraogo. So come, I will show you the first theatre, which is outside.
Dehors de l'autre côté. There is 20 years.
There is 20 years. People come a lot and they can show the movie. Very little money. Yeah, very little money.
Very little money. Yeah, very little money.
So how has the COVID-19 pandemic affected your craft?
Énormément. Nous, dans notre salle.
Enormously. Here at our theatre, we were having a hard time bringing people in because, as you know, with digital media, people have access to films even on their telephones. We succeeded in creating some momentum, but COVID arrived and disrupted everything. And now we have to start over to bring people in. And it's not only COVID, but also the security situation that we are experiencing in Sahel. So all that makes people reluctant to go out.
Ça fait que les gens sont assez réticents à sortir.
Do you believe in the future of Burkina Faso's film industry?
Of course. If not, I would start selling fabric.
Oui, oui, oui.
Yes. If I didn't believe in the future of cinema, I would stop everything and start doing something else. All jokes aside, we have a lot of potential. We have the expertise, not only among our actors, but our technicians as well.
Au niveau des techniciens.
Director Sekou Traoré believes that the way forward is to develop all the professions in cinema, not just directors.
If we invest in the training of directors, then we also have to give them money to make their films, and we don't always have the means for that because there are too many directors. But there are other professions in cinema that are in demand. There are always 20 to 30 Burkinabe technicians who are working on productions in the sub-region all year long. And if we cannot employ them, they find work elsewhere.
His latest film, Eye of the Storm, won critical acclaim and third place at the 2017 edition of FESPACO, but fell short of commercial success.
It's difficult to succeed as an industry when we put so much money into a film and then we cannot capitalize on it, not because the film is not good, but because there isn't the proper infrastructure to distribute the film in the proper conditions. Meaning that if we want to aid the cinema industry in Burkina Faso today, we have to ensure that the theaters receive their share.
Aide aux salles de cinéma.
We're in the oldest and largest cinema hall in Francophone West Africa. Every week, about 2,000 people fill the seats to watch the latest Burkinabe productions.
Et voilà, donc
It is a theatre from a certain era, but it survives and renews itself every 2 years in order to allow each edition of FESPACO to take place in the best conditions possible. We are roughly at 80% finished with the work. It's the exterior work that remains. We have made an investment of about $30,000 up to this point because we had to redo the air conditioning, the paint, other maintenance. We have to clean the chairs. Everything is redone. So 35 years later, this theatre is becoming less profitable. At this point, we sell between 1,500 and 2,000 tickets per week. If you charge $1.75 for entry, that gives you about $3,500 per week. So for 1 month, you multiply by 4 weeks, which gives you about $14,000. And you multiply with the rest for the year, and that gives you an idea of the total business. But for every ticket we sell, we pay tax of 37.5%. This is a big problem because unfortunately the taxes we pay don't come back to us. Once they go into the government coffers, it's gone, and that's not good for us.
What impact does the FESPACO festival have on your business?
It has a positive impact because when FESPACO takes place, there's a bit of money coming in. Secondly, it allows us to have the attention of the political class and show them the difficulties that we are having.
With the rise of digital streaming platforms, how has that affected your business?
That question makes me laugh, and my response may surprise you. Netflix is not my competitor, quite the opposite. I can't see you, madam, dressing up in your best dress, your best shoes, your best, to sit in front of your television to watch a film. Whether we want it or not, we have to go out from time to time. We need to see people. We need to be in another universe. And that's what the theatre provides. If we go 2 or 3 weeks without showing a Burkinabe film, people start complaining and wondering why we are not making new films. I think people see themselves in these films and it makes us dream.
Those dreams also cross borders and attract young talent from neighboring countries. Banu Sagu is an aspiring Malian filmmaker who has been training at a renowned cinema school here in Ouagadougou. So you'll be leaving school next year. Are you concerned about stepping away from the bubble of being in a school setup and entering into the real professional world of cinema?
No. No. Not only do we learn cinema, but we also learn television production. That's the advantage of being in this school. So if you leave and you don't make it in cinema, at least you can approach a studio or a television station and try to make it in producing television series, and maybe even you produce your own films there.
So maybe you could give us an idea of the amount of investment that you have made to pursue a course of film here.
It's somewhere between $10,000 and $14,000. The first year I paid about $1,400. The second year as well. The third year I paid about $1,800. Once you factor in the rent, it's really not easy.
He is already earning a return on his investment. His short film, My Lucky Day, won the award for Best Student Film at this year's FESPACO, which came with a cash prize of $3,500.
It's not because we know how to operate a camera that we can make films. It's an industry. So we have to take it seriously and try to do something that can at least help the next generation of filmmakers.
Young film professionals like Banu could soon play a big economic role on the continent. A new UNESCO report shows that the African film industry has the potential to create over 20 million jobs. For now, however, it remains largely untapped. For Burkina Faso to do its part, the consensus among those we spoke with is that the government needs to step up its participation.
Président du Faso, Président du Conseil des ministres.
We really need strong political engagement and for our countries to invest money in film productions. It's true that we are in countries that have many other priorities, and in those situations, culture doesn't often rank very highly. But that being said, we really contribute a lot to making our countries known and educating.
From production to distribution, the Burkinabe cinema industry has shown great tenacity despite the serious financial and security challenges it currently faces. The FESPACO Film Festival therefore offers a useful platform to further develop and recognize talent in Burkina Faso, in Africa, and its diaspora.
Smart Money takes a short break. When we return.
We've been brainwashed for years with relaxers, products. We don't need them, and especially with locks. You only need water. You don't need products to grow your hair. It's like a plant. You just have to water it, and it grows. I am Daba Diene, and I am a hairdresser by profession. I've been doing this since 1980 until now. I opened my first salon in 1983. I started very young with my mother, who did our hair. And as the oldest of 3 girls, she taught me to braid my sister's hair. So I was responsible for their hair. So that's how it started.
Responsable de leurs cheveux. Voilà, c'est comme ça que j'ai commencé.
We've been brainwashed for years with relaxers, products. We don't need them, and especially with locks. You only need water. There is no maintenance. Once installed, it can be the big ones, the locks, the sister locks, or the small ones, the micro locks. But we only need to redo the roots once a month for the first 3 months. After the 3 months, it's once every 2 to 3 months, depending on how the hair grows. And look, she's got length. And it's a good length to do the roots again. And that's what we call the hook method.
Ça dépend de comment les cheveux poussent. Et là, regardez, là, cette longueur.
We used to count very few clients a day, but now we don't count anymore because it's so fashionable that everybody is doing it. I think everybody wanted to go back to natural. That's really the advantage. And you don't have to braid all the time and do it again.
I have no regrets. I've had locks for 10 years. When you're a young professional, you don't necessarily have that time in the morning and in the evening, and I found that the locks were just the right thing for that. You have to be able to keep your natural hair, but at the same time be able to get up in the morning and have a ready-to-go hairstyle.
Ça, c'est des extensions.
These are extensions because he has short hair and he wants a 3-year length. So 5 to 7 centimeters that we cut and attach to his hair already installed. My project is to train more people. Because I'm not getting younger and I have to retire one day. I would have liked a lot of hairdressers to say that I was trained by Daba one day. It will happen, inshallah.
Inshallah.
With the existing fuel subsidies, petrol cost 39 cents, but it may not have been raised. Diesel and aviation fuel prices are on the rise, having its effect on industries and air transport. But what are the major petroleum marketers experiencing now? Oil marketer Clement Isong provides answers.
The entire distribution system in Nigeria is dependent on diesel. So the smaller vessels all run on diesel for their bunkers. Once they get to the depots, there have been challenges in electricity in Nigeria for a while. The depots run primarily on diesel, some of them up to 70,000 liters per month, the very big depots. To get to the filling stations, because the pipeline system is down, it's only through trucks that products get from the depots to the filling stations. All the filling stations run primarily on diesel generators. So the entire distribution system is dependent on diesel. The primary supplier of diesel is Russia. If we're talking about petrol, the petrol comes from northwestern Europe. The key problem was the cost of diesel, I mean the cost of distribution has gone up. The same thing, what they call the middle distillates, also aviation fuel. The cost of that also went up alongside the cost of diesel. So whereas the cost of petrol is, I would say in Naira terms, about 400 Naira, these others, before they land in Nigeria, we're looking at about 600, 700 Naira. Because it is those countries, the West have sanctioned Russia, and so it's difficult to get diesel into the country. So the impact is, even where you can get the petrol, which is subsidized in Nigeria, to get it from the vessel to the filling stations has become extremely expensive. Indeed, because the petrol price is capped, it does not compensate the supply chain. What that means is the truck driver who is supposed to carry the product, but what many of them did was they withdrew their trucks from carrying petrol because it was not compensated, and started using the trucks to carry other things, or just went and parked. Everybody is struggling with the high diesel cost.
Nigeria's fuel subsidy, known as the Premium Motor Spirit Subsidy, artificially keeps everyday petrol prices low for Nigerian consumers. The country relies on imported petroleum products. But is this program sustainable with the ongoing Russian-Ukraine conflict? The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timipre Silva, provides answers.
It has impacted us in a lot of ways. Globally, it has impacted the oil prices, as you know. And that means that since we are a net importer of products, that affects the cost of the imported products. So that has not been very palatable for us as a country. You know, and of course, plus the fact that we are not really getting the full benefits, because our production at this moment is not at full capacity, because the investment in the sector is quite low, because of, as you know, the global community is now talking about energy transition and is taking out investment from our sector. Of course, we have to import products and sell at subsidized rates to our people. I must tell you, I mean, subsidy is clearly unsustainable. If you're looking at it from a sustainability point of view, it is not sustainable. But of course, from a humanitarian perspective also, it is something that we cannot really also discount. But that's why we're looking for alternatives on how we can make it easier on the people. We're trying to introduce alternative fuels, for example, trying to introduce gas as fuel, so that would be a cheaper fuel. And maybe when we've been able to give these alternatives to the common man, then we'll be able to take out the subsidy. The Nigerian position, we are saying, look, we are transiting through gas. We are saying, okay, we have gas, we have abundant gas resources, so we cannot move from where we are straight on to renewables. So we want to transit through gas. So one of the ways we want to really introduce gas and to make things easier for our people is to now introduce LPG and CNG as auto fuel, so that people can convert their cars to drive on CNG or on LPG, which is cheaper than PMS.
What's the government's plan to increase production?
Security is one factor that has reduced our production. The second issue is the lack of investment. So we are now trying to go on an investment drive so that we can get people to put in a little bit more investment in this sector. We are stepping up our security on the pipelines. So that is going to bring a lot of additional production. And then, of course, NNPC is now more or less on its own because of the PIA. Of course, and NNPC is now commercialized, so they are doing everything to ramp up their production.
According to Fadekemi Abiru, a Nigerian economist, this conflict presents a window of opportunities for African countries.
So infrastructure issues need to be fixed by the government. That's something that the government will need to tackle, and also the security issues that plague the sector. But then in terms of investment as well, something that needs to happen, there's more investment in the upstream gas sector. This can even come from using like tech-enabled solutions to, improve like the monitoring that goes on in this sector, and so that would help to address some of the issues that are being faced there.
That brings us